Gant's going to explain a little bit about what makes a NASCAR Grand National car different from what you find on the road.
Well, this particular car here, the number 33 Skoal Bandit, is a Oldsmobile Cutlass. And as you see, the body is the only thing, the sheet metal is the only thing that really resembles the O's that you would go to the showroom and buy, because it's rear wheel, all the cars are rear wheel drive. You know, we have a GM motor here. Most of all the GM cars, Pontiacs and Oldsmobiles and Chevrolet, they can run a Chevrolet, basically a Chevrolet engine, them 358 cubic inches of max on it. They all have a special transmission for the road course and these new special Alcon brakes they have. Now the chassis are tube and chassis, which are made by basically three manufacturers in North Carolina and there in South Carolina. It's Banjo Matthews, which we prefer. That's what they call the rear steer chassis. And then we have Mike Lofton and Hudson Pagan. Dick Hutchins never builds them there, but both of those other two, they'll go either way, whichever way you want, a front steer or rear steer. But basically, when this tube and chassis first came out, it was basically a rear steer copy off of the Ford company back in the 60s. And it's worked real good for us, so we tend to sort of stay with that. But the configuration of the body cannot be altered very little, just enough for some tire clearance. We have templates that fit the roof, fit the doors, fit the fenders and everything, and we got to keep these cars resembling a stock car that you would go buy in the showroom. And of course we have the roll cages inside for protection, one seat, you know, the fire extinguisher, we have front and rear brake adjustments, rev limiters to shut the engines off in case you over-rev the motor. We're limited to the rear deck spoiler, which that holds the car to the ground. You're very limited to that. Cubic inches and the degrees that we can run. You know, in the big tracks, Daytona and Talladega, they have the restrictor plates now, and they also have a minimum height on the spoiler. I mean, a maximum, so you can push it down. The more you push the spoiler down, 10 degree runs faster than 25, but you got to have something to keep the wheels on the ground. We were up to, you know, nearly 200 miles an hour at the last race at Talladega, so the restrictor plates cuts us back to about 440 horsepower. And, you know, years ago, you couldn't run that fast with 600 horsepower, but the new design of the bodies and the aerodynamics they have and the spoilers they work on the rear, the cars now are getting, you know, fast again. They want to cut them back again. NASCAR, which come out with a smaller plate, which will be running in the next race at Talladega. And it cuts about 20 more horsepower out of the engine, so you'll be back down to about 420. And it should keep the speed somewhere around 190, 91 miles an hour, you know, this time of year. So it's incredible that you can make a car go that fast. If you accelerate the car out of the pit road, it feels practically like a street car, you know, when you're used to 650 horsepower and you only got 420, there's a world of difference. But the shapes of the cars and the wind tunnel tests that the manufacturers give us now, it makes the cars have less drag.
That's a look into the world of not-so-stock Grand National stock cars with the Bandit, Harry Gant.